All right, let's just jump right in. Picture, if you will, the sheer chaos of a major insurance company's daily operations. I mean, you've got thousands of customers buying new policies, canceling old ones, adding their newly licensed teenagers to their auto coverage, or even worse, retroactively changing their address from 3 months ago. It is wild. The real world of insurance is this messy, constantly shifting web of data. So, how on earth does a massive enterprise system keep track of all this without just completely collapsing? Well, the answer, and literally the ultimate solution to all this chaos, is the Guidewire PolicyCenter Data Model. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to unpack exactly how this entire system works, from the foundational concepts all the way to how mastering it can launch an incredibly lucrative career in tech. Here's what we're covering today. First up, a welcome to PolicyCenter. Then we'll hit the core building blocks, master effective dating, dive into customization and APIs, and finally, we'll map all of this out to your actual Guidewire career path. Okay, Section 1. Welcome to PolicyCenter. What exactly is it? To put it simply, the Guidewire PolicyCenter Data Model is basically the universal contract of the whole system. Now, technically, it's a metadata-driven, object-oriented structure. But okay, what does that actually mean for you? It means this model is the engine that translates all those messy real-world insurance scenarios into a perfectly structured, queryable system. Think about it. When someone walks into an agency to buy insurance, in the real world, they're just a customer. But in PolicyCenter, this data model instantly categorizes them as an account. A sold policy becomes a policy period. It basically takes the utter unpredictability of human life and turns it into neat, organized data that software can actually rely on. And I really want to illustrate just how absolutely crucial this is with this central idea. The data model is not some side topic you just pick up after the basics. It is the basics. I honestly can't emphasize the stakes enough here. If you're learning Guidewire, you simply cannot skip this. Seriously, every single configuration, every GASU business rule, every screen binding, and every external integration relies entirely on this model. Long story short, if you don't understand the data model, you don't understand PolicyCenter, period. Moving right along to Section 2, the core building blocks, entities, and type lists. So, let's break down how this dense technical jargon maps directly to relatable, real-world insurance examples. We've got 3 core components to look at. First up are entities. You can think of an entity as a business object that maps to a database table, like, for example, your everyday customer becoming an account entity. Next, we have type lists. Now, a type list is simply a tightly controlled set of allowed values for a specific field. So an insurance example would be policy status. That field is constrained to only say active, canceled, or expired. You can't just type whatever you feel like in there. The type list locks it down. And finally, we have foreign keys. These are fields that point to a single row of another entity, which is what creates the vital links between all this data. Now, the absolute most crucial point when you're working with these entities is understanding the golden rule of Guidewire customization. You basically have 2 flavors: base entities, which ship out of the box with the platform, and custom entities, which you create yourself. The golden rule: you never, ever overwrite a base entity. No exceptions. If you need to add a new field to a base entity, let's say you want to add a loyalty tier to a customer's account, you do it safely through what's called an extension file. This upgrade-safe customization is a total lifesaver. It ensures that when the insurance company updates their software next year, your custom code doesn't just completely break the whole system. And, these entities don't just float around in a void. Relationships are what actually turn a bunch of disconnected tables into a fully functioning policy administration system. By using those foreign keys and arrays we talked about, the data model creates these really complex webs of ownership. For instance, a single account entity can own multiple policy entities, and then each of those policies can own multiple coverages. It's this exact relational structure that really makes the whole Guidewire system tick. All right, Section 3, Effective Dating, the Time Machine. Let's walk through the effective dating lifecycle, because honestly, insurance is incredibly time-sensitive. PolicyCenter doesn't just record what changed, it records exactly when that change takes effect. It's literally like a time machine. Let's say on day 1, your policy begins. Midterm, you decide to buy a new car and you need to add it to your policy. What Guidewire does is create a branch, which is a separate line of change for this endorsement. Now, if an underwriter wants to see what the policy looked like on a very specific date in the past, they just view a slice of that timeline. And an effective dated window is simply the span of time where those specific values apply. The real magic here is that the software tracks exact coverage changes over time without ever overwriting the historical data. Now, you might be sitting there wondering, okay, what's in it for me? Why do I actually need to care about branches and slices and windows? Well, here's your answer. Mastering effective dating is the exact thing that separates genuinely capable developers from the rest of the pack during job interviews. Top tech recruiters specifically screen for this knowledge. If you can walk in there and confidently explain how effective dating preserves the history of an insurance policy in PolicyCenter, you immediately skyrocket to the top of the hiring pool. Which brings us to Section 4, Customization and APIs, Integrations. Look, no enterprise system operates on an island, and PolicyCenter relies heavily on modern transport systems to communicate with third-party billing, rating, and analytics platforms. We're talking about integrations like REST APIs exposed through the Guidewire Cloud API, traditional SOAP web services, JSON and XML payloads, integration gateway, and even modern event streaming using Apache Kafka. But here is the critical takeaway. Whatever the transport mechanism happens to be, those external systems are ultimately reading and writing the exact same entities from the data model we just discussed. The data model is literally the foundational contract for every single one of these integrations. Now, when you're actually in the weeds, customizing and saving all this data, you are interacting with Guidewire's persistence layer, which is known as the ORM framework. As a developer, your primary job is to manage the change bundle, not to write direct SQL queries. Actually, scratch that. You shouldn't be writing direct SQL queries. When you modify an object, the framework tracks all your changes in memory within a bundle, and then it writes them to the underlying database in one clean transactional sweep. This seamlessly keeps the physical database schema perfectly aligned with your metadata, which ensures extreme stability for the system. Okay, Section 5, your Guidewire career path and the financial payoff. To really grasp the demand out there right now, just look at the major global consulting firms leading these modernization programs. We're talking about heavy hitters like Accenture, Cognizant, Capgemini, Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Deloitte, and LTIMindtree. They are actively overhauling massive legacy insurance systems around the globe. And because these transformations are insanely complex, these firms are aggressively hiring Guidewire talent. Data model expertise sits at the absolute center of nearly every single configuration role they're trying to fill. And because these skills are super specialized and the demand just completely outstrips the supply right now, Guidewire pays a distinct premium over your generic software development roles. The salary progression is dramatic and, let's be honest, highly motivating. Taking India's IT sector as a prime example, a fresher can start out making up to 7 lakhs a year. Mid-level developers are pulling in up to 15 lakhs, and senior developers with, say, 6 to 10 years of experience can see salaries climbing up to 28 lakhs. The financial growth as you master this platform is just incredibly clear. But hey, it doesn't even stop there. If you stay the course, truly master the data model, and climb the ranks to become a Guidewire architect, you're looking at absolutely top-tier earning potential. We're talking salaries of 70 lakhs or more. That alone proves that specializing in the PolicyCenter data model isn't just some short-term gig. It is a deeply lucrative long-term career path. So how do you actually get there? Well, there's a really clear, actionable ladder of growth required to reach that architect level. Step 1, as a beginner, you just focus on the basics of navigating the platform and really understanding those type lists we talked about earlier. In Step 2, the intermediate phase, you tackle the time machine, really mastering effective dating and GoSU rules. And finally, in Step 3, as an advanced developer, you're designing complex custom entity extensions and fine-tuning the database. It is a step-by-step journey. Oh, and here's a fantastic bonus for you. Your knowledge doesn't just lock you into one single product. While PolicyCenter handles the policy administration and underwriting side, Guidewire also has ClaimCenter for claims handling and settlement. And because both applications share the exact same underlying platform architecture, mastering the PolicyCenter data model transfers beautifully right over to ClaimCenter. By learning the foundational concepts we explore today, you are effectively doubling your career opportunities across the whole insurance tech landscape. Which leaves us with one final thought today. The Guidewire PolicyCenter data model isn't just some piece of software you memorize to pass a test. It's the lens through which this entire global industry actually makes sense. Once you understand the entities, the relationships, and the mechanics of effective dating, the black box completely opens up. You stop just using the system and you become the one shaping it. So I guess the only question left to ask is, are you ready to master